Hello everyone and welcome to Galaxy on Velour paper. So today we are going to be making a galaxy on what is called velour paper, which is a little bit fuzzy paper. Most of you either got black or brown paper to start with. So let's go ahead and go through some of our materials that I sent to you, and then we'll take a look at what we've got. So in my container, you should have gotten a piece of fuzzy velour paper, and if there was some smudging and smearing on that, that's okay because we're going to do that anyway. So one piece of that, and then one of the things that you possibly have gotten is some powdered tempera paint. So with that, we're going to mix that up, but it is also kind of fun to just sprinkle it on there, and if you didn't get powdered, there's a way we can kind of make something very similar to that. So powdered tempera paint in a couple of different colors. So yellow, this one was white. Okay, so yellow and white, and then you should have gotten some oil pastels in your container, and then also some chalk, white and yellow, and that'll do it. One thing that I do want to say is it would be nice to have an old brush, an old toothbrush for this project. So get that out and some water, and we'll get started here in just a minute. Here are some pictures from the Hubble spacecraft of different galaxies and some artist renderings of different galaxies that have been done. So now that we have our supplies ready, we're ready to start doing our drawings. So the first thing that we're going to do is get our velour paper out and ready, and then we're going to go ahead and start with our oil pastels and our chalk. One cool thing that you can do is use the powder prior to getting it wet with the water. So before mixing it, let's just take a moment to see what will happen when we start by just flinging the powder at the paper, okay? And so that is making a lovely kind of explosion of color all over it. And then I'm just going to smear that around in this one area, just to kind of make it look like the gravity is pulling those planets in different directions. Then I'm going to use my chalk and just start going in and even drawing that a little bit more. So I'm seeing this orbit that's happening around in space. Okay. And then the next one I'm going to do is just add a little bit of yellow into that. So that I just have a variety of different colors. Okay, one thing I did want to mention is if you didn't get the powdered form of the tempera paint, you can make your own type of powder just by taking sandpaper, or you can take an ivory board or nail file, anything, cheese grater would work for this. And just taking the chalk that you have and going back and forth on there, and that will create a powder. So if you didn't get the powdered form of the tempera paint, that's not a big deal. Just go ahead and use some sandpaper or something aggressive to get the powdered form of your chalk. And once you do that, I just kind of collect it into a container. This is a top for a yogurt container. And then that you can use to sprinkle on top of your velour project too. So it will work even if you didn't get the powdered form of the tempera. Okay, so I'm just going to keep sprinkling. And one thing I will say is when you're doing this, to get that glowing center part of the project, like where the star that is causing the gravitational pull around, that is very bright. So we want to make that center area very, very bright. Chalk doesn't make it incredibly bright, but your oil pastels will. Oil pastels will stick really well and show really bright up on this velour paper. So if you're feeling like it needs a little something besides the chalk, go for the oil pastel. And I have a variety of different colors in my container, different colors that you might see just because of the infrared type of filming that they do to see these galaxies. You might see some blues, you might see some pinks. Is that necessarily some of the colors? Well, the gases that are out there are going to be causing all kinds of different colors, but these are it's just kind of a brighter color that you can kind of add in there. You can even use those to make those star colors. We have seen all kinds of different colored stars based on the progression or the stage of the star. So if it's glowing to more of a bluish gas form now, or even reds. So don't be afraid to mix in some color with that. And then the last technique that I want to show you for painting this is to mix up some tempera paint. And when you're mixing up tempera paint from its powder form, you use 50-50. So what I would do is add a spoonful of the powder into the container that I was using, and then add a spoonful of the water into the container like that, and stir it up. That's all there is to it, 50-50. If you're feeling like it's a little too runny, add a little bit more water, or add more water. Add more powder to thicken it. If you're feeling like it's a little too thick, add some more water. In this case, though, I do want it a little bit more watery for the type of project that we're going to be doing, which is going to be splattering this paint onto the velour paper. Now, this is the part where you probably want to put down some newspaper so that you're not getting paint all over yourself. And if you're kind of a messy person, you may want to consider grabbing an apron, because this does splatter kind of all over the place. So, fair warning, tempera paint, this particular tempera paint is washable though. So, now when I do this, I get my old toothbrush and I'm just kind of swirling it around in there, okay? But you don't want it dripping. So let the extra stuff come off of it and get all those little last drippings off of it. And then you're just basically taking it and splattering all over the project. So you're just placing down more stars. You're going to get some finer stars with this technique because what's coming off of this brush is very fine. So it's just kind of another technique to get that, to get some more stars on there. You can even use the brush and make some more swirls with it. So if you're liking the effect that this has onto your piece, you can use that to swirl the paint around, okay? And I am just going to finish up a little bit more with adding some more white to really enhance that swirl effect that I have going. So I'm just going to go in and make some more swirl marks coming from that. Now, one thing that you will see in time too is some galaxies are going to be more spiral, some are going to be more radial. So, you know, this one's a little bit more spiral and this one up here is a little bit more radial. So, but you're the artist, so you have fun, and don't forget to take pictures and let Mrs. Fortin see your work. Have a great night. Hope you had fun.